Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Hump Day. Happy May 7th. And that being May 7th, for another 4 minutes, had to bring this up. 36 years ago today, May 7th, Wrestle War 89, Ric Flair pinned Ricky, the then world champion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, to become NWA world champion for the 6th time. This culminated, in my opinion, to be one of the greatest feuds in wrestling history. Definitely one of the greatest match series in wrestling history. There's a reason why there are only 3 people that I want to sign my big gold, and that is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ric Flair, and Sting. I have 2 of those 3. As soon as I can get Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to sign it, then that belt is getting sealed up and framed. But yeah, Wrestle War 89, I watched it live. The feud started in Chi-Town Rumble 89, where Ricky Steamboat challenged and defeated Ric Flair in Chicago. The feud would continue on April 4th, 1989 at Clash of the Champions, where it was a best 2 out of 3 match, and Ricky Steamboat defended the title, but controversially, Ric Flair had gotten his leg up on the ropes as the 3 count for the final fall was counted, and because of that, he got one last chance at Wrestle War 89. It was going to be his last chance before Ricky the Dragon Steamboat moved on to other opponents, and Ric Flair pinned Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in a roll-up off the top rope. And like I said, I have watched a lot of wrestling, and I've seen a lot of feuds. I've seen a lot of pay-per-view feuds. I've seen a lot of match series. That one, to me, sets the standard. And that was 36 years ago, May 7th, not Chi-Town Rumble. That was a pretty good pay-per-view, too, by the way. There's a lot of good matches on that pay-per-view. So, there's the duck. Hope you're feeling well. Here's my favorite Australian. Here's just another Australian. I'm just kidding. William, do you know anything about Marvel Squadron Supreme? I'm watching Avengers Assemble, and their villains in it. Pretty much an evil Justice League. Well, they're an evil Avengers, is what they were. Squadron Supreme is a alternate universe team from a parallel universe. They basically would be in place of the Avengers. There's an evil version of them too, a Squadron Sinister. That's basically what they were. They're not the good versions of Squadron Supreme, like Hyperion, Speedmaster, all those guys. They did clash, but they were not necessarily villains. There is a villainous version of the Squadron Supreme. It's called the Squadron Sinister, and you have an evil version of each of those characters. So that's what you're talking about. But yeah, they've been around for a long time. Oh, black smoke. Yeah, you get, for those of you who are following the conclave, the electing of a new pope. Every day that they do not come up with a new pope, the ballots that are cast are burned, and they present a black smoke. When they have voted a pope in, those ballots for yes or for that particular person burn, and they burn a white smoke. So it could happen. Last time I think it could take anywhere up to 5 days, but I'm not really. I know the basic knowledge of the Pope and how it's done and where it's done and all that, but as far as like the details goes, I don't know how long it could take. It takes as long, they could have 2 or 3 votes. Yeah, super adaptoid. It was it's a piece of technology, I believe, that was created by AIM, and they used them a lot. I mean, you would see him; he would take on the powers of whoever he was facing. Sometimes like when he was facing the Avengers, he'd be Green Hulk. He'd have Hawkeye's mask and arrows. I mean, he would adapt. He could adapt to whoever he was facing. Okay, I have not watched the show, but in the comics, the Squadron Supreme originates from a different Earth. They are humans, but they are. Let me look them up because it's been a while. They had a series that came out a couple of years ago that I still got at the store. Let's see. Squadron Supreme. Wow. Squadron Supreme is a superhero team consisting of American comic books published by Marvel Comics. The core members of Squadron Supreme are Hyperion, Nighthawk, Doctor Spectrum, Power Princess, Wizard. They're basically, like I said, She-Hulk. I mean, they were parallel versions of the, you know. But yeah, they did. I consider them more of Avengers counterparts, but they were created in the vision of the Justice League. Wonder Woman, Power Princess. Well, got many other characters later added to the roster, not all of which are based on DC characters. So yeah. The Squadron Supreme has its roots in the Squadron Sinister, which is probably what you saw, which had first appeared in Avengers 69. As a past, yeah, see, so it's got a long history. Earth 712 version. I mean, there's a lot of versions of them. But yeah, each one of them pretty much is basically the same, but you have the villain actually premiered in Avengers 69, and I believe it was the Grandmaster who plucked them out of the universe that they were in. If I can remember, it's been a while since I read them up. It once took 3 years to elect a pope. Damn. Hold on, be right back. $3 years. That's. Oof. Hello, Belle. How you doing? This is my late night show. Yeah. Oh. This is my time of night where I'm winding. I'm like in that in between time where I'm winding down, but relaxing. And it's like the in between there. There's like there's some energy I got left there. That's why you kind of see me come out of nowhere. I thought the Wizard was his Golden Age species. The guy, Speed Demon is on Squadron Sinister. Wizard is on Squadron Supreme. But yeah, they may have taken some creative licenses with the show, though. But yeah, definitely. I know what you're saying, though, because Squadron Supreme has a complicated history because of what they are. So, but if they did something different on the show, that's just another version of Squadron Supreme. All right, let's see. All right, ain't nothing big happened today. I don't think anything. Let's see. Yeah, pretty boring day today. Pretty boring day today. Weather was perfect. How you doing, Azteca Azar? Weather was perfect today. If you're living in Vegas, this is the kind of weather I want year round. Not too hot, no rain, dry, some breezes here and there. Perfect temperature. this is what I wish I could bottle up today and keep it there, but you know how that goes. Yeah, another target for Dak. You know what, I kind of got the feeling that Mike Tomlin was kind of getting tired of Pickens, so I'm not surprised to, I'm not surprised to see that happen. I got a 4.3 on Google Maps. Yeah, I do my best. Okie dokie. So, like I said, anyway, this is one of the last of the open topics. I mean, we'll have one a week next week, after next week, but for the most part, I'm going to start planning out the shows a little bit, a little bit better to where we have certain topics. I'll look around the store and see, and some days news will just, not news, but topics will just present themselves because we're not a news channel. We're not a news channel, but sometimes topics will present themselves. Like if there's a trailer for a movie we've been talking about comes out, like if the Superman trailer were to come out, whatever, that's obviously that's going to be the dominant topic of the day. Or if we get another Fantastic Four thing, or Avengers news, TV shows, I mean, those kind of things will dictate the show. But yeah, I'm getting all the open topic stuff out of my system right now, and next week we'll have mostly planned shows as far as structured shows, and then we'll still have open topic as part of those shows, but it won't be completely open topic, just me just hanging around running my mouth. I got curious. I wanted to know what time you'll open shop. Yeah, right now, until I can open up the complete store, which is the areas that are kind of like rained out type of situation, we're Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But although I'm there every day, but our full-time hours are pretty much, those tourist days. But if you were to stop by at any given moment, you probably catch me or Marquise there. So, and like I said, on Fridays and Saturdays, I'm there super late because those are the tourist hours. Oh, crazy Gideon. Yeah, that was a weird thing. How did we get that? That was fourth bringing up Santa's Village last year, and we just spiraled into all kinds of crazy nostalgia. That was a fun show, though. Like I said last week, out of all the shows that I've done, that was probably one of the most fun shows that we've done. And this just came out of nowhere at like 1:00 in the morning, too. No, we did not. No, we did not. Some people may have needed it. I could go forever. You know what? This town went through a 5-year drought. Nobody bursted into flames. We did just fine. They found the water when they needed it. We didn't need shit. Yeah, I heard the guy, the lead singer, has stage 4 cancer, and they had to cancel their tour. I mean, that sucks. Cancer of any kind sucks, but when you're in stage 4, you're in a fight for your life. So I hope he makes it. Yes, I do. I sell all kinds of Doctor Who items. I used to have a TARDIS in the store, a working TARDIS in the store that you could actually walk into, and had a screen and everything, and had had the noise, and it went up and down. So yeah. Oh, Chuck, how are you doing? Here we go. Okay. Next week we're going to be doing our Mission Impossible promo. So for those of you local who want some posters and stuff for Mission Impossible, one of my most anticipated movies of the year, we will be doing a promo, and we'll start later on this weekend. You'll start seeing me do the promos on the screen. Also, much to Brad's chagrin, on June 2nd, we will be holding a special screening of the Ballerina. I will see it before Brad, because Brad is a loser. Speaking of loser, man, hold on, wait. I can hear the static. What happened? Why have we regressed?
What are you talking about? This is my new laptop, and why? And this was like just the perfect intro to bring me on about the whole thing with you see a John Wick movie where I do. How dare you?
I still hear that static. That must be. Don't tell me. We got rid of the computer and we're still staticking. Hey, wait a minute, guys. Hey, guys in the chat. Maybe if it's just me, I don't care. Can you guys hear the static from Brad, or is it just a me and Brad thing on StreamYard? Let me know if you can hear the static. If you can't hear the, go ahead. No, don't unmute yourself, Brad. Unmute yourself. Because it may be a StreamYard thing. It may not be. If the chat can't hear it, then I don't care. Chat, can you hear White Monster? That screen.
USB port there. Is that better now?
That's way better. That's
Oh,
way better. Wow.
yeah, I put it in the back one. It might have been, I put it in the one ahead. It might have been like the wrong one I put it into.
Okay, cool. I mean, you know what? Like I said, it may just be a you and me thing, because there's certain times where something's happening between us that the rest of I noticed when I watch the show that doesn't happen on the show.
Well, because if that's the case, then we can definitely rule out it's, because now that's on a completely different computer, it's like, okay, now it's definitely not me.
Yeah, now you sound fine. You sound perfect now.
And now Aaron's saying there's no static.
No static position. Maybe I'll watch the show again.
Well, good. We can get back to the topic of the totally unfair cosmic injustice of you seeing a John Wick movie a minimum of 3 days before I do.
You live out in the sticks, man. I can't. If you were out here, you would be seeing it with me.
The sticks. You've been to Savannah, man.
It's compared to major cities, though. I mean, it's not a major market. That's the thing, dude. Fucking Vegas is barely a major market. I was surprised. No, they do. Warner Brothers is not. Yeah, we don't get shit from Warner Brothers anymore. Disney, we don't get. Dude, I didn't get Thunderbolts. I had to go to Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So yeah, but when it comes to Lionsgate and those companies like that, they do take care of us. But when it comes to the big studios, it has to be like Mission Impossible. We're getting because it's a massive movie, but we don't get the Marvel movies at all.
God, we're getting close to that now. We're already week into May. We're getting close.
Yeah. So blockbuster season. We obviously we're getting closer to Fantastic Four, which is, like I said, if Marvel doesn't do anything out here with us, I'm going to do a cosplay get together like we did for Nosferatu, like we did for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and like we've done for Spider-Man: No Way Home. So
I still say, like, speaking of cosplay, I still say, like, when Shazam was coming out, your shirt, just throw on like a wig, a beard, and a cape, and get the scepter. Like,
I don't cosplay. I other people do it. I enjoy seeing it. I enjoy looking, seeing other people be creative. I personally don't cosplay. I just generally just I don't, especially at events when I'm usually doing something at the event. It's really hard to,
it's weird because I when I go to cons, I don't usually cosplay. I have a couple of times, but usually when I'm going to a con, it's like I'm usually just going in the street clothes. Maybe like next time, because Savannah Con, that's going to be coming up in a couple months here. It's over the summer, so maybe I should finally, because I've been Nightmare Joker a couple of Halloweens, so maybe I should finally break that out for an actual convention, I guess, Nightmare Joker.
I didn't take Joker. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of Georgia. I could not wait to get the hell out of Georgia. It was the weather. I hate the weather in Georgia.
So you see what's
I needed
like
gills.
You kind of do, because we don't just have, William's got heat, he's got the desert heat out there. We got heat and humidity.
Yeah. You need a breathing device, dude. It was so hard to breathe out there. It was like you were literally breathing in water. I'm like, ugh. And I
remember one time when I was training with some of my karate buddies when I was in college. I was doing a Shotokan at the time. It's not the school I'm at now. It was the other discipline I was involved in. We were training outside. One day it was I think it was actually June or July. It was and we're training outside. God, the gnats. And of course you've been here, so you know about the gnats we have too.
Yeah. You see them in the dark.
Oh God, man, the gnats! It was like every gnat in Georgia came down on us all at once. We were sparring. You punch a guy, pull your fist back. There's like a dead gnat on his gi. So.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of other shit out there that just I didn't have any time for. I really wanted. I was counting down the days.
Well, Bell, were you stationed here, Bell?
No, I did. We did AT. I did AT 3 years in a row.
I'm talking about Bell Rev.
Oh.
Yeah, were you stationed here, or did you live everything? Yeah, because come September. Come September, I've been living here for 20 years. I'm living really, really long. I'm living a really, really long time.
You can keep it. Sorry, no. I just don't. And every time I've been in the state of Georgia, it's been for the Army, so that kind of skews things. So, don't lock the sticks. You could say where I live is a stick. Well, you live in the Outback, though.
Well, also, Aaron, you live within would you say like an hour of Sydney? So the closest one for me. Well, yeah, Atlanta's about. It's about 250 miles from Savannah, so you can get there in about 2.5 to 3 hours. We're also about 2 hours away from Jacksonville in Florida. But we're done.
Yeah, you're in the Panhandle. You can keep all that. I just Southeast is nothing. I mean every time I've gone to Southeast, it's like
biggest. Other than Atlanta, biggest city down here for me is when it was again about 10 years ago now. We went to Tampa Comic Con. That's about a 5-hour drive. It was worth it though, because that was a fun weekend. That was a fun 5 days. That was one of the best weekends of my life. I could like share stories about that con like for all time.
Oh yeah, she was in Columbus for 3 years.
When her ex-husband was stationed there. Okay. Yeah. So, but then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like we got the gnats, we got the humidity, we got all the wonderful summer stuff.
Yeah, he's the reason why I got stuck here in cold Washington State. Oh yeah, Washington. Yeah, it always rains in Washington. But these in Washington, it's like I said, that state's built for water.
Yeah, and you know,
Vegas was not.
It's interesting you say that too, because I remember when we saw the Batman. You know, with Ashley and I, when we saw the Batman, we came out of there joking. It's like that version of Gotham City is like probably like right next door to Seattle, because it's raining all throughout the Batman. I mean, it looks like it rains like about 320 days out of the year in Matt Reeves' Batman universe.
Well, that's because of the effect. He loves that rain effect. Like Blade Runner. It does not rain that much in LA, but in Blade Runner, it rains like the whole movie. So
Aaron says live 2 hours. Wait, yeah, you're closer to Sydney than I am to Atlanta. So,
hey, Aaron, how close are you to the Outback?
Oh, you stop picking on my sister. This Outback thing.
She's She's closer to the Outback than I am.
Yeah, but you got an ocean between you and and then a desert between you and the Outback.
Okay, so if they both live.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we got the cicadas here too.
Where is Sydney from the? Oh.
And we got like once daylight savings time hits, we got. I mean, it'll still be sunlight here till about now it's still sunlight till about 8:30 at night. We got some good sunsets here too. Ain't all bad.
Oh wow. Yeah, you'd probably have to drive a little bit, Aaron. Or ride do they have emus out there?
Stop it. Yeah. Oh, but Aaron, by the way, there was this okay,
oh my goodness.
That looks like a little bit more than 2 hours of a drive. Is it the green line or the blue line?
I think it's the blue line. Hold on.
That's more than a 2 hour drive.
Okay, so yeah,
that's like the distance from like Texas to.
So the blue line leads you into Uluru, a place called Uluru. You ever heard of that, Aaron? You ever been there? Oh yeah. Are these just hotels out there?
Oh no. Here this is a good one. And Aaron, I don't know if Aaron could probably share a little bit about this, but I remember when I was a kid. Anybody remember the show Ripley's Believe It or Not? Well, I mean, it's like a big, but I mean, there's the iteration.
Jack Palance hosted the original version of it.
Like the iteration I was introduced to it through was when Dean Cain was hosting it. It was on TBS.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was one segment they did where they had there's I forget exactly where where in the Outback it is, but there's like an underground mine where they're able to mine opal from that. And what this community is actually kind of built like an underground city there. So they got like an underground city out in the Outback from an opal mines in the Outback.
I saw that. They covered that somewhere else too. Aaron, Clint wants to know. This is Clint. This isn't me. But I am curious. I mean, can you theoretically ride a kangaroo? Like a tauntaun, because remember Empire Strikes Back, those are based on kangaroos, right? So
stop it. I'm
curious.
She'd have to use Google to find the distance between her and the Outback. And by the way, Aaron, you actually reminded me because Aaron tagged me in something earlier.
Bring up no kung fu shit on the non-kung fu.
Well, it's kind of related, but I mean, it's got kung fu in it, but it's not strictly.
Yeah, of course, or you wouldn't be talking about it with Aaron. Of course, it did.
Well, Aaron,
hey, Joga. When I go to Australia, me and you. I'm taking Joga out to the Outback, which is going to be me, him, and Aaron. We're going to see if we come back alive. You ready, Joga?
Well, Aaron tagged me this earlier. David Goyer wants to write the Blade film. And Aaron tagged me. Hey, Brad, look some Blade news. And so we had a little talk about that. So, I mean, they've been trying for 6 years to get this thing off the ground. It's like, I mean, they tried everything else. Why not go back to the OG Blade Rider?
Did they really?
I mean, yeah, apparently that's
what has Kevin Feige tried and failed at?
They've had like 8 different directors come through. They've had they apparently it was one point set in the 20s. It was going to be
there was one
version where it was like Mad Max Fury Road with Blade.
Okay, you guys think they tried at this? If they were trying, it would be done. They're not ready for this.
I'm going to solve this. So here, I'm right here tonight on the Sci-Fi Center. I'm going to solve. Here's how this will work. Here's how this will fit. Here's how this can get made, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. All right. And yes, it's going to relate back to the raid, William. Okay.
Okay.
Here's what it is.
Okay.
Here's what it is.
Dead
okay?
on arrival.
There's a building full of vampires. Blade goes in. He chops them up for 2 hours. He comes out. Nick Fury's standing right there saying, "Hey, we got to deal with this big like multiverse crisis. We think you could help." End credits. There you go.
Wow. That's not good. But hey, no, I think
Kevin Feige, when you greenlight that, I want a quarter. I want every time somebody says or whatever the Jameson quote was.
Kevin Feige knows when he's going to bring in Blade. The only person that needs to know when Blade comes in and when Blade fits right now is Kevin Feige. After that, it'll be Mahershala Ali. After that, anybody else who's connected to the project. Fans can keep guessing all they want to, but you're trying to outguess a guy who's been doing this since the early 2000s.
I just gave to Feige
the lamest.
Okay. Again, I'm going to reiterate, Feige, if you're watching. Okay. The building full of vampires in New York.
Don't associate
it's full of vampires
with me.
It's full of vampires. Blade walks in. He chops them up for 2 hours. He walks out. Nick Fury is standing right there. Hey, it's like we got this big like multiverse event happening. It's like we need all the help we can get. You just chopped up like 800 vampires. We think you could help with all these people with superpowers. End credits. That's the end credit scene.
Those people who are coming in and will watch the show for the very first time, what you just heard there are why fans are fans, and screenwriters and directors and producers are those things for a profession. Okay, this is why this is why I am not a rocket scientist.
This would be the cheapest Marvel movie you've made. You just need to get like Chad Stahelski handling the fight scenes.
All right, guys, listen. For the last time, this movie is not happening any sooner or later than Kevin Feige wants it to happen. There is no confusion at this point. There is no, what do we do at this point? It doesn't fit right now. If it did,
I just showed you how it fits. It's like he does his thing.
The guy who matters, the guy who pays people, the guy who orders these things, it doesn't fit within his plans. That's the only answer you need.
I just fit it in.
Hold on. Stop asking
like
why
fitting.
Why is it so hard to get a Blade film? No, it's hard for fans to wrap their heads around things that they are not involved in. You're not Kevin Feige. That's where it ends. You can ask all you want to, but when he wants it to happen, just like everything else in the MCU, that's when it happens. But that could be next month. That could be in 3 years. That could be never.
I'm probably going to pitch on this, by the way.
Yeah, and it's wow, no one's ever heard that before. So, like I said, when the next time I want to hear about Blade is when Kevin Feige decides we're going forward with Blade. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. You guys are going to talk.
Well, I want to hear about it.
You guys are like dogs chasing your tails. Wow, am I ever going to chase my? Am I ever going to catch the tail? Wow, what am I going to do?
I want to hear about it when my idea gets used.
Yeah, whatever. What's going to happen when the dog chases the car? Come on. I mean, the most entertaining thing about this is people who probably have no clue, which is all of us, about when Kevin Feige wants to do a Blade movie, guessing about what Kevin Feige wants to do and why Kevin Feige's not doing a Blade movie. He doesn't want to. It doesn't fit in the MCU right now. When it does, that's when it will happen. Am I going to have to put why? Okay, I'm seriously going to have to put, and I'm not joking anymore. If there's nothing to talk about when it comes to Blade, please, people, stop fucking bringing it up.
Well, apparently we got something to talk about. Goyer's in talks to return for it.
That is, listen, a screenwriter and a director wanting a job. Every director wants a job. I could do fucking Carrot Top could announce I want to write Blade tomorrow. So what?
Why not?
Feige announces there is a director or writer for Blade. I don't hear shit about this. I seriously don't want to hear shit. We're literally talking about nothing right now. There's nothing to talk about. Now you guys are imagining. There's nothing kind of Blade to talk about.
Feige, we're watching, okay?
Yeah, whatever. if
vampires.
you're watching this show,
Blade. There's a building full of
All right,
vampires.
so
Blade. He walks in. He chops up vampires for 2 hours. Walks out. Nick Fury's there. We need help with the multiverse crisis. And
how do I filter out this? Because like I said, we literally fucked up 5 minutes of the show talking about something that's not happening.
Aaron, I'm surprised Aaron didn't tag you in this too. Because she
knows that. No, she knows I don't want to be talking about Blade. Kevin Feige will let me know when Blade is coming. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And I love David Go, but what? Somebody says they want to direct something. What director doesn't want to direct something? Every director.
He's not talking about directing. He's talking about writing,
screenwriter, anything. Now, if you said at the top of this, Kevin Feige has tapped David Goyer to write. Now we have something to talk about. That's why she didn't tag me in it, because there's nothing to talk about. All right.
And by the way, Droga also now to another point. Trank. I don't know. He's the Chronicle. I thought was pretty good. Fantastic Four. That was a whole shit.
I don't know why this is such a. Is it splitting the atom? Am I introducing neutrons and plutonium? And am I introducing concepts that are really so beyond this? There's nothing to talk about.
He walks in, slays a bunch of vampires, comes out. Fury's there.
There are movies that are coming out that I'm already exhausted of talking about. We're literally wasting showtime talking about a movie that may not even be years from happening. Banned. I'm not bringing up any more Blade shit in the chat. I'm going to time you out. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Fury. There.
Test me. I got the mouse right where I need to have it.
And by the way, we got an answer from Aaron too. It takes approximately 10 hours from me to the middle of the outback in NT
Joga, and you pack your bag. What do we need? How much food do we need?
What does NT stand for? Is that Northern or Northern Territory?
All right. We're going out there with khakis and barefoot.
Yeah, Bell Rev's getting a big laugh. Again, I just solved the whole Blade crisis. Okay, it's like
there's no Blade crisis. There's no Blade crisis. There was no reason. There was no reason in this show tonight to bring up Blade. There was absolutely no real reason for tonight to bring up Blade. You are literally talking about something that's not happening right now. Once again, if your sentence when it comes to Blade doesn't start with Kevin Feige, then you don't have a sentence. Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry can say, well, I would love to write Blade. I would love to direct Blade. If your name ain't attached to Kevin Feige, who currently is the guy who decides that, then
well, now you're definitely trying to push.
Fantastic Four is happening though. Listen, dude, it doesn't matter what you are. I think about Fantastic. It's actually happening. We can talk about Fantastic Four because it's happening. It's coming out. Kevin Feige wanted Fantastic Four to happen, and guess what? It's happening. That tells you right there. I mean, the guy doesn't have any plan for it, and when he does, then that's when we talk about it. Otherwise, listen, dude. I really don't want to time people out. Hold on. How long is 320 seconds? Is
that's like 6 minutes, I think.
All right, guys.
Bell Revs. She's enjoying the conversation. Yeah.
Who needs to be warned? Who needs to become the example?
And she's of course, yeah. Well, I guess I'm sure you enjoy Deadpool Wolverine then. It's only one blade. Only going to be one blade.
You guys are literally mocking yourselves at the fact that there's nothing to talk about with Blade. You're creating a conversation where there literally is none. There's nothing to talk about. Nothing. And that should tell you something. What project did Kevin Feige want to get done that he dragged his feet on? Nothing. Yet here we are. Like I said, we just really blew up this show.
Feige, it's like I just
talking about some non-existent
solved the equation
bullshit.
for you, Feige. Okay,
he needs Brad.
Out
when Kevin Feige needs Brad to solve an equation for him, that's when the retirement announcement is coming.
In chop up like the Raid, out.
That's some
Fury.
generic. That's some generic bullshit. You wouldn't. I would if I saw you coming and that's what you came with. I'm locking the doors. Like, you're not even getting in the reception area. You're not even getting into the Mr. Feige's busy to see you. Maybe you should make an appointment.
If this movie ever gets
Maybe,
made, it's gonna be my template. I guarantee it. I guarantee
it's like the guy at the door is calling up warning, say, this guy Brad's coming up with this really lame script. Do you want me to stop him from even getting into the elevator? And they're going to be like, the secretary, not even Feige, the secretary is going to be like, yeah, keep that guy downstairs. Keep that guy downstairs in the lobby. Let him have some coffee and then tell him to go. So, yeah,
I need to find like an emoji or like a GIF for this. Like, here's your entire concept. It's like in, chop, out, Fury.
Like I said, you may not even get in the building with it. You may be out there with the pigeons.
Oh, I might. Maybe I should go do that. It's like stand outside of Marvel Studios and say, "Hey," like a sign.
Yeah,
saying, hey,
and there's probably a bunch of other clowns out there with, "Oh, well, I got an idea." You won't be the first weirdo to hang out thinking that he's got the next big thing for Marvel. I'm pretty sure the guys on the inside of the office probably got a leg up from the fan who thinks they have the next answer. So,
well, Aaron's got some clarification. The Ripley's Believe It or Not episode about thank you, Aaron, because I couldn't remember the name of the town specifically. It's a Cooper Petty, and in that episode they put I remember that too. They did put subtitles, and it's the same thing like with the original Mad Max, where they dubbed it because they thought that people would be able to understand like the actors with Australian accents. Like, what the fuck? It's like, and then 20 years later when they finally they did like the DVD re-release of Mad Max. It was actually when I first saw it when I was a kid. It was like 02, 03, I think, something like that. And they had the dub track and they had the original Australian track. And you listen to the Australian, which we'd already seen the Road Warrior anyway, where it's like they didn't dub that, and you could understand Australians just fine. So, and we listened to the original Mad Max 79 one. The decision making in this business just sometimes it really, really just eludes me. A case in point, in chop out Fury.
What were we just talking about?
About the Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Okay.
Where they have the underground city in the opal mine.
Gotcha.
And they subtitle Australians even though they're speaking.
Well, listen to the band Oasis. Oasis is speaking the Queen's English, and you can't understand them. They need subtitles, and they are literally speaking English. Where English came from, they're speaking English. So sometimes they have that. Well, it's the 90s. So
only the first one was in the 90s too. Then 2 and 3.
The rest of them, the one good one was in the 90s. And
I love 2, and then Trinity. We don't talk about it.
Movie. But like I said, listen, the Matrix. That's why the Matrix is where it is. We didn't have a lot going on in the 90s as far as that type of filmmaking. We just didn't have it. I mean, you had some really good movies coming out in the 90s. You had great movies coming out in the 90s, but you didn't have those, oh shit, that changed the course of movie making type things. You only had like a handful of those. Groundbreaking. I would say Blade was innovative. I don't think it broke any ground as far as it really didn't change it. It was innovative. It was, it was a different take on a vampire movie. All Blade was to me was a vampire movie because I grew up reading the comics and it was nothing like the comics.
He's British in the comics, for one thing.
Yeah, that Blade that you saw on screen was just that had nothing to do.
Well, he wasn't at that point. Initially, he wasn't half vampire. In his comic origins. I mean, that was some. They first did that when he appeared in Spider-Man the Animated Series. And then that he was like the product of a vampire and a human. He was their child. And then they reworked that as like his mother was bitten by a vampire.
That's his original origin.
Right before she gave birth to him, and that changed his genetic makeup. But again, originally he was just he was immune to vampire bites in his comic book origins. Then the movie came out, it was a big hit, and then they reworked Blade in the comics to make him closer to because at that point, I mean, the movie was that was the perception of Blade at that point.
Well, yeah, because he was a B-list character that nobody bought. It wasn't like Blade. Trust me, I was there. Blade wasn't flying off the shelf. Blade was basically a book that would come out. I'm serious. It would last 8 or 12 issues, and then it would get canceled.
Well, yeah. Then you have the movie come out and be what it was,
and again, did nothing for the sales.
but that was the perception of the character in the public consciousness, was what the movie established, was he's half vampire, he has the trench coat, he has the sword, he has the sunglasses.
But the origin of Blade has pretty much stayed the same.
Right.
It stayed the same.
Can we have Blade come out to the outback to fight vampires?
Yeah, they really, if you keep up with the comics, they haven't really changed the origin of Blade.
Aaron, it's interesting you say that too, because we were talking about Sinners recently, and like how, that kind of sets up a whole mythos. And of course, I mean, vampires, they're not just localized to the United States. They're all, and, I mean, yeah, why not? Like, you have like a Sinnerverse, spin-off, or, some kind of a story set in the Australian outback. It's like, yeah, why not do that?
Wow. I'm just looking at Blade. That was an awful fucking movie, dude.
Third one, yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, that was one of.
I saw that with my dad. I was back in high school. It was right when I was in senior year of high school. They put that up for Christmas that year.
Marv Wolfman created Blade as a Dracula guest star.
Well, because his book was that he first started in was Tomb of Dracula, right?
Yeah, Tomb of Dracula number 10.
Which, by the way, Blade Trinity also has the worst Dracula I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. It was the original origin was him being bitten by a vampire while giving birth to him. So that's the origin. That's pretty much been the origin throughout. They really haven't changed much with Blade. But like I said,
speaking my language here. I'm gonna bring this up when
I'm not even taking it. I'm not even taking you seriously.
I want to bring this up when we do the stream with a little movie perp. Which again, I'm still gonna decide when the best time to come on and do that is. But yes, I'm sure Blade will come up.
Yeah, if that was a pillar, then you really need to check out your building, because your building's about to, your building not really built on any.
Part of the start of the '90s cool era. Yeah, sunglasses. Yeah, definitely did.
No, Matrix did that.
I think actually the other thing too, like Blade kind of beat Matrix. Well, it didn't make a big use of it, but it kind of preceded one thing in the Matrix with the whole bullet time thing. And what I mean by that is, there's the part in it when Frost has the kid in Central Park, and he's trying to get Blade to join him, and then Blade pulls out his gun and shoots at Frost, and Frost dodges the bullets, and that's in slow mo. It's got kind of a bullet time thing to it. So yeah, it does kind of precede the bullet time a little bit.
When are you guys going to understand? When I put my opinion out there, hold on. When I put my opinion out there, and I'm gonna make sure. I don't give a fuck what you guys think about it. When I put my opinion out there, I don't give a fuck about what you think about my opinion. My opinion is not there to alter yours. Vice versa. That's what a conversation is. I don't care if there's 100 people in a room and 99 of them disagree with me. I don't fucking care. Did I articulate that as slow enough? So statements like that don't mean shit to me. I just want to let you know so you don't waste your keystrokes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. This is really stupid, though. I mean, this is why we're not doing open topic after this week, because we end up wasting time on stupid shit like this.
It's even New Order did a track with the Blade movie. The track was called Confusion. It was and that was in the trailer too. That was actually really good. That was a really good intro, and that was a really good soundtrack for it. Again,
I'm literally the host of the show. You guys are boring as shit out of me.
Okay, well, Paul,
I literally am hosting a show where the environment is boring my eyeballs out of my fucking skull.
Paul says, speaking of Snipes, finally got around to watching the Snipes Heart miniseries True Story on Netflix. So that was pretty good. I was not familiar with that.
Just heard that it existed right now.
Yeah. Bell Rev's got a real zinger here. Can we all agree Wesley Snipes was born to be Blade like Henry Cavill was born to be Superman? No. Yes, again.
No. I'm literally going to end the stream. This has literally been 46 minutes of waste. This is one of the few shows that I've ever hit the start button on to where I was like, I could have literally gone and done something better with my time. And I haven't felt that way about one of our streams in a long time.
Well, okay. Well, then let's go back to the fact that you're that the topic that breaks my heart is that I'm going to be the last one here apparently to see the next John Wick.
Sorry, you don't live in Vegas. If you were living here, you'd be there with me.
See, I've never gotten like, I've gotten plenty of press screeners, screeners. In all my time doing this, I've never been to a screening.
Which is
like,
weird because you are a journalist in press outlets. And do you try to get them?
Yeah, well, there have been a couple where I've reached out, but and again, part of it's also is like it's kind of what you're saying. Is like, I mean, if you're not in LA or in New York, and it's like the studios are very selective about like where they're going to do like press early screenings for like big blockbusters. So that
you'd probably have to drive to Atlanta.
Yeah, well, there have been a couple where I've heard about with that, but I just wasn't able to make that work. Like the original Wonder Woman, I reached out for that, but that was going to be in Atlanta, but it would have been like 3 days before the movie came out. It's like, okay, that just wasn't worth it.
Oh, well, that's when they usually are. They usually are 3 days
before
the movie.
But if I were in Atlanta, it'd be one thing. But it's like it's a road trip, and 3 days before it's out, it's like, okay, that's like, it's not worth it at that point.
Yeah, the Celtics are done. The Boston Celtics lost by a point to the New York Knicks, which is any day that the Celtics lose is a good day for the world. I just need the Edmonton Oilers to start using. Vegas let me down last night. Let those clowns come back from down 2-0. But I got a little bit more faith in the Golden Knights and them being able to dispose and dispatch of the Edmonton Oilers. But I don't need the world and the universe does not need the Boston Celtics hanging another banner. Fuck that. So, yeah, any day that the Celtics lose, it's a good day. It should be a national holiday. Anything with Blade. Anything with Blade. Unless there's news about Blade. If there's legitimate news, not that shit. Legitimate news.
He said, what's the topic? Now, what's the band topic?
There's only one band topic from this point on.
But he announced what the band topic is. What the real topic
is. It's open topic. It's open topic. It's whatever the fuck I want. How about that? How about that? Oh, we've just been in Frank like that. Whatever I want to talk about.
Okay, here's another. Well, it's another Marvel character. Because I just seen it circulating on social media. They say 15 years ago, Iron Man 2 dropped. Where's everybody's thoughts on that?
I liked the look and feel of the movie. I love that. That movie has one of my most favorite transformation scenes. He drops the.
Oh yeah, he has the briefcase
and it comes up out of him. I thought that was the coolest.
That was pretty cool.
Transformation scene, and the other one I like is the one where the original Avengers one, where he jumps out and then the
throws him and it shoots after and it catches him. Yeah,
and the suit catches him, and right before he hits the ground, he's Iron Man. And then the one in Infinity War, where he tells because the Hulk can't change, Hulk can't change the Hulk, so he takes off his glasses and the micro armor just comes around.
I was never as big on the nanobot kind of like Iron Man.
Me either, but that scene where he just turns around, just nonchalantly turns around, and he's got to deal with all this, just like he's dealing with another day at the office. So no, Iron Man 2, I did not like that movie. I actually am one of the people who liked Iron Man 3. I did not like Iron Man 2. Mickey Rourke was in it, and that was, I thought they underused him.
Yeah, they did. They definitely. Well, also his character. For those of you at Marvel, I don't think they do this so much these days, but probably Iron Man 2 might be like the last example of this I can think of where the villain would be kind of like a composite of like different characters because Mickey Rourke's character. I mean, he's billed as Whiplash, but really he's kind of like a merging of Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo. In Iron Man 2.
It was lame.
Yeah, he wasn't the strongest. Well, to be fair, I mean, like that's kind of like one of the biggest kind of everybody's kind of like pointing out like it's always been kind of Marvel's Achilles heels, the villains, like really up until like Thanos and Killmonger.
And by the way, the only reason why they were hit it with Thanos is because they didn't do Thanos. They did an evil genius, and that's not what Thanos is. Thanos is a fucking dummy who does everything for death. Yeah. I have wow, Thade was on.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I heard there was a show that I was listening to where Thade popped up, and I said hi to him then because I was listening to the show. He's doing all right as far as I know.
Yeah, I've seen him on Twitter here and there too.
Andor is becoming. I heard this last couple episodes that they released. Or somebody told me that it was the best Star Wars that they've seen in the Disney era.
I heard that too. Or it's like I haven't seen season 2 yet, but I have, which is really I mean, you don't see like widespread like universal praise for Star Wars stuff. So it's like when it's at that level where it seems like majority praise, it's like okay. I mean, that tells you maybe there is kind of a little bit of sea change here.
I want them to get to the level where we're that excited about Star Wars, but not in this era. I want when we do either Knights of the Old Republic or Tales of the Jedi, or we do Tales of the Jedi, the future of the Jedi. I mean, like I said, in the whatever it was considered to be the modern era, I would like to see some excitement about when that's when I'll be excited. But right now, Andor is just a great show. I'm behind on Andor, so I haven't watched this episode that people talking about. Man, I'm sorry, but this is a depressing show. And then knowing how it ends even makes, I mean, all these people are toast. I have not seen GTA 6 trailer. I know half the hemisphere is waiting for this trailer or watch this trailer. People who have been waiting for this game. I don't play games, so I can't share your excitement about that. But I've seen all my gamer buddies acting like this is going to be the rapture. So I'm like, it must be, it must be good.
Yeah, I've never been into Grand Theft Auto myself either. I know that was the first one probably since the game title since like Mortal Kombat to like inspire congressional hearings.
Why did Thunderbolts even have two names? Well, it was marketing. This is marketing.
Well, I mean, has it now been officially like retitled New Avengers?
No, it still runs as Thunderbolts, but
okay.
I thought it was kind of clever.
Yeah, I did too.
It's a temporary thing. It's a temporary thing, so I thought it was kind of. Well, I really liked it.
Well, it plays within like the. I mean, it pays off how the movie ends. For those of you who haven't seen it.
You lost your sound.
Yeah. Do we? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it plays off the ending of the movie, which I won't go into too much if you guys haven't seen our spoiler discussion. But yeah, there is a. It's the reason for the asterisk of the title. I watched
Blonde. She got nominated for Academy Award for that movie. What are you talking about? She's the best thing about that movie. Then that movie was weird, by the way. I wasn't down. No, he's talking about Blonde.
About Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. I think she was great in that. I think she's the best thing about it. The movie is kind of weird, and I didn't connect with the movie, but she was really good in it. So
it ruffled some feathers too.
Well, yeah, they're banging Marilyn Monroe and doing drugs and hallucinating and shit, man.
Well, it's also NC-17, which is like that's the first time that's happened in like God knows how long.
Yeah, and she has no problem showing skin. Man, she has no problem showing skin. But no, I like her. I mean, she obviously, she's been in stuff that I like. I love her in Blade Runner. I think her performance in Blade Runner is a underrated performance of hers. And same thing with Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista is in Blade Runner 2049 for like 9 minutes, and he sets the course of the movie. If I ever get a chance to meet Dave Bautista, I'm going to tell him that, because I've never seen a character have that little time on the screen, but literally affect the course of from the moment him and Sapper Morton and Officer K meet, and that happens between them. It literally changes the course of his character, and he affects that character even when he's off screen and even after he's gone. So, Ana de Armas in Blade Runner 2049. I there hasn't been too many things that I've seen her in that I haven't liked. Well, like I said, I forced myself to watch Blonde because this is not my kind of movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know other writers who were not fans of it. So, but yeah, like as far as like Ballerina, I mean, in No Time to Die, I mean, she's got, I mean, let's say her big like fight scene, and that's like that probably played a role in like them saying she could probably carry a John Wick spinoff.
I mean, once again, she was nominated for an Oscar for that, and I think that was one of the ones I had to watch and say, okay, what were these guys thinking? The movie's bad.
Well, she's not. We had a whole like thing recently where we talked about how they're not even apparently watching the movies. Are nominated. So. And
I'm somebody who thinks the nomination process needs to be.
That's probably. I think that's one of my favorite streams we've done. That's probably the funniest stream we've done. We're like reading off the reporting on this.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you just phrase it so many different ways. Like we're instituting rules where the Academy have to actually watch the movies they're nominated for Best Picture, and like what I mean, every like half a paragraph. It's like I get through it, and Wing would just jump in and say, "Okay, like this is so ridiculous."
Yeah, because you're like people are in the chat. People are trying to justify. Well, no, there's no justification for that. It's the whole thing to do. All right, what do I think about the Marvel Corvette saga? Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the original one that was in Avengers 176, 177, and 178? Are we talking about the one where he comes back in the Guardians of the Galaxy back in 1991, or just Korvac in general? Because I love Korvac. Michael Korvac is one of my favorite villains. For those of you who don't know, Korvac was a villain that existed as a human in the Guardians of the Galaxy era, not the ones that we know of with the raccoon, but the original one with Vance Astro and all that, the original 30th century, where a race called the Badoon had taken over the solar system. Michael Korvac was an engineer for the Badoon that fell asleep on the job, and the Badoon were cruel, so they gave him the lower half of a body that was an android, and the rest of him was human, and he hated them for it. What ended up happening is Thor Annual 6, sad that I remember this, but I guess I should. Thor Annual 6 is when the Grandmaster, I believe, it's one of the elders, teleported people from different realities to fight Thor. That's where he first appears as Thor Annual 6. And after the game is over, he teleports them back to their places. But what ends up happening with Korvac is he gets teleported near Galactus's world ship. The lower half of his device is a device that can siphon and replicate energy. So he tapped into Galactus's world ship and got a part of the power cosmic and became a godlike character. And he restored the lower half of his body, and then he basically went back in time, and then his big vision is he wanted to turn the world and the universe into a paradise with him ruling over it. And it was sort of benevolent. And then the Avengers, that's what brings him in contact with the Avengers. He ends up fighting the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy, who go back in time to find him, and he kills them all. I mean, it's Avengers. I think it's Avengers issue 178 where they all attack him. Star-Lord, who was one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy, he had fought him on the astral plane, and then Korvac disintegrated him and rebuilt him into something that could not see Korvac. And that's how they found out, because he was hiding amongst, mankind when the Avengers were trying to find him. And when Star-Lord, I think that's what his name was, I can't remember his exact name, Star-Lord, they were all talking to Michael Korvac at the door. He's like, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know a guy named Korvac. And then Star-Lord walks up to him and was like, who are you guys talking to? I see nothing here. And that's when they realized that they were talking to him, and he just kills them all. And what ends up happening is the collector's daughter, who he had sent to infiltrate and try to stop Korvac, falls in love with him. And as he's killing these Avengers, he looks to her for reassurance, and she looks at him like a monster. And then he says, this is all for nothing. He restores all the Avengers back to life and then basically kills himself. What he had really done, though, he hasn't killed himself. He transfers himself and his conscious back to the 30th century and into a woman that was having a baby, and then he basically was reborn at that point. So yeah, Korvac is one of those enemies that had he was all powerful, but not like the Beyonders' goofiness. The story about Korvac was that he wasn't truly evil. He just thought that with these powers that he should be making the world a better place, that he should be ending suffering. And the Avengers opposed him because of the fact that, well, you're eliminating free will while you're doing that. You're basically enslaving us. But he didn't see it that way. So that was the conflict. So that's one of the few stories in that era where a all-powerful, godly type character actually had a story written to the point where it wasn't just a writer's crutch like it was in Secret Wars. So thank you for bringing up that character. I don't get a lot of people in the chat that know Korvac.
Aaron's got who's excited for Practical Magic 2 next year. Yeah.
What is that? What was Practical Magic 1?
It was the witch movie that Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman did back in, I think, 98. Sorry, Ozzy. It's witches doing witchcraft, so it's fantasy, and you will not contradict the wishes and my sister. So
okay, all right. And I'm not contradicting shit. I don't know what I know. What I know, I don't know what that was. Sorry.
No, but that did kind of it's actually a little bit like Hocus Pocus, where it's like it kind of came and went initially, but it's
I have yet to see a following.
I
know that, yeah, I know they're popular. I just haven't seen them. Happy birthday, Sir David Attenborough.
99, man. That is Dude's made a long time.
Okay. What's a character that would benefit from suspense murder mystery movie in the MCU from comics to do something different? Okay, I'm going to make sure I'm reading this right, Chuck. What's a character that benefit from suspense murder mystery movie in the MCU from the comics to do something different? Add 80 cents music score. Any thoughts on a throwback? I mean, the old standards. I think Spider-Man would be fine. Daredevil obviously works in something like that.
Yeah,
Doctor
Daredevil.
Strange works in an environment like that. So where you could add synth music to anything
You know
now,
who else
and
that
it
would
makes
work
it better.
with?
Okay, we finally put the show on solid footing to where we're not talking about bullshit, and here you want to go back to the cow pie. Anyway, but that's to answer your question, Chuck. There you go.
I was gonna say that would just the other way I was thinking saying that would work with anybody who carries a sword too. Just saying.
Good. Oh yeah, he's talking about the Cowboys. Yeah, we are really excited about that damn Cowboys crisis.
Because Chuck, man, your wording on this was like.
Yeah, retype that, dude. I hope I answered your question right, but I think I know what you're trying to ask.
This is like a Rhea tweet. If Rhea was really like writing like a haiku within like a limerick.
Yeah, trying to out-talk me. Make me feel dumb.
No, because Rhea really.
Rhea actually uses big words. I'm like, oh.
No, not just that, but she her sentence structure. Like when she asks a question, she really and it's like I type things for professionally, so like if she's throwing me off, she's really got quite a vocabulary. Yes, they are, Clint. Yes, they very much are. Who cares about the Cowgirls?
Yeah, a lot of people love suffering because, like I said, like if people try to come at me, hey, how about your Lakers? I'm like, how about your Cowboys? What happened to the Kings? What happened to the Cowboys? Hey?
Agent
What
Carter.
about the Dodgers? What about the Dodgers? How about the Cowboys?
Agent Carter would be good for that 80s mystery. Yeah. I did kind of like what they were doing for a while with Peggy Carter, where they, because Steve is frozen and she's still going on with her life, so they kind of they would either have her in cameos like in the decades after World War II, or they would have something like the Agent Carter series, or they've had now Captain Carter. So. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good use of her, like in between between seeing her in First Avenger and Winter Soldier. It was a pretty good way to kind of keep her going around.
You should be celebrating right now, and Rob Blake is gone. After 8 years of mediocrity, Rob Blake has been fired as the Kings GM. Jim Hiller, you're next. Jim Hiller, if you're watching the show, nothing personal, dude, but you got to go. Game 5 of that first round told me. Literally, if you game 5 of that first round was that you looking at the camera and saying, fire me, to anybody who was listening. And I was listening. And I hope King's ownership was, I'm pretty sure you'll be a great coach someday somewhere else. But right now, I can't look at my team and see you as a head coach after game 5. I can't do it. Can't do it. Don't make me start a fire him. What if I think about hashtags? Don't make me do a hashtag fire Jim Hiller. Don't do it.
Yeah. Aztecs Bell's probably a Raiders fan.
Yeah, she is.
And she says, duh. But since they are Vegas now, not so much. They belong in California.
Well, the Raiders will still be in California if Al Davis, who is a Hall of Famer, was a Hall of Famer, is great, deserves all the credibility and all the credit, for being one of the early founders of the AFL, NFL. But what he did with the Raiders the last 25 years of his life was absolutely abysmal. This cat left the second largest media market in the world, in the nation, in LA. Goes back up to Oakland, which he left because that stadium was garbage, on a gentlemanly conversation that they were going to the city of Oakland, which doesn't pay for anything, was going to build him a brand new $1.5 billion stadium. Didn't get it in writing, goes up there anyway. And of course, Oakland does what Oakland does, not pay for anything. And he's mad now, and he tries to sue the NFL because, the NFL tried to force me out of LA. The NFL never wanted you to leave. The NFL spent the 20 years that you were gone trying to put 2 teams in LA. They did not want you to leave LA. So he loses that lawsuit. Then he passes on. His son takes the first. His son tries to get to Oakland back to LA. But by that time, the Rams had already decided to relocate, and the Chargers, who were originally in LA, decided to relocate. So they did it too late. So they ended up coming to Vegas. By the way, Darth Vader and all those Raider fans from up north, up south, they all come to Vegas. That team, I can't believe that team has the kind of fan base it does. They've pretty much abandoned 2 cities, and those fans from those cities come to the games. Darth Vader, that guy that's been there for 30 years that the Darth Vader had, and the Spikes, he's there at Allegiant Stadium. So they are a brand.
Okay, I think we got some clarity on that initial question from Chuck Cage. Which character from Marvel could debut be in a murder mystery 80s throwback? Okay, but even that's like, dude, you gotta tighten that up, that genre description a little bit. In the MCU, do a different type of film for the MCU and throw in it.
You're basically talking about like a Miami Vice type of Magnum PI situation. To be honest with you, any character. You could take a Nick Fury and do that. You could take a Doctor Strange and do that. It doesn't matter because that's the atmosphere. If you grew up in the 80s, I understand his question as a kid of the 80s. I completely understand what you're saying. And my answer to you is all of them. All of them. I think every single one could benefit from that. The 80s was an atmosphere, especially in the mid 80s with the synthwave movement. And a lot of that is coming back now, by the way. You watch Stranger Things. You want to know what synthwave is? Stranger Things. That score for Stranger Things. Jan Hammer, the guy who did the sound score for Miami Vice. I think any of those characters could do it. Be honest with you. In the MCU, I mean, you name it. You name it. I can imagine any of them. So I hate to be vague in my answering, but I really think that atmosphere, because that atmosphere made shitty shows good. Back in the 80s. Bucket, look at Automan. Automan lasted as long as it took me to say Automan. Automan was a ridiculous show, but it had a kick-ass score. I mean, and it stayed on for a lot. Manimal was a show that I think lasted a commercial break, but it had a kick-ass theme song. That's what did it in the 80s. You know, I mean, more people knew the preamble to the A-Team than watched the show. So Knight Rider lasted a long time, but Knight Rider and Miami Vice was completely driven by synthwave and music like that. So I think that I think you could take in 2025, you could take some of these characters and do that to them now, and I think they would work. So yeah, to answer your question, I think just about any character you're talking about. Is this somebody watching the show? Oh, hell no. No way. So, yeah, I hope I've answered your question. That was a wide-ranging question, but I think it has a wide-ranging answer. I will never root for a team in Vegas that came from somewhere. Oh, I can do that. I came from the city of Los Angeles. The only team that was actually from there was the LA Kings. The Lakers came from Indianapolis. I could easily root for, another team that came from another state, no problem at all. But I'm different. I didn't, like I said, Vegas didn't have anything. So before I was born, the Lakers and all these teams were established here. So before I was born, if you grew up in a place like Vegas where you didn't have anything and you saw, you have a team like the Knights who were born here and a team like the Raiders. But here's the thing, though, the NFL is king. So, you're probably going to get an NBA team here that probably moves. Who knows? Yeah, he was Al Davis, like I said, Al Davis, the last 25 years of his life made some weird decisions. Weird decision. Have you the crazy? Yeah, I saw it. Dude, listen, this is another thing. I don't like talking about Final Destination. I feel like I should be looking around right now when I mention it. Knock on some wood. There was a billboard where somebody was falling off of a scaffolding, and that's their marketing. I'm like, that's kind of morbid. But then this movie, dude, the Final Destination movies are some of the most fucked up movies you're ever gonna see, and they'll have you walking out of the theater afraid to do shit.
Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way: it's like Savannah Comic Con. It's at the convention center, which is across the river. after I always take the ferry instead of going across the bridge.
I mean, you could be cutting something, using a power tool, using anything. And if you watch enough of those movies, you need to watch your ass, man. You always need to be careful anyway. But I'm like, some of the stuff that's in that movie is like, okay, I've had enough. I'm not.
What's the one that like really like? It was the one that really just the best one in terms of like scaring. Yeah, like this is like a situation.
The tire, the chain effect that the tire flying into the crowd. That one was. I mean,
the race car.
It just starts off a whole chain. The roller coaster one is fucked up. They're all of them. Let's back. You know what? Let's not.
One of my favorite ones actually is and this is sort of like related to what I do is in Final Destination 5 when the girls are at the gymnastics practice and the screw falls off the ceiling and there's the one girl on the balance beam and she steps on the screw and she falls off and knocks like the dust and it flies up into the fan and the girl on the uneven bars like flips and like breaks her back.
The ones that have the chain reaction.
Well, they always have the chain reaction. That's
but the ones that are like really bad that like literally last.
And it always starts like something like really small, like something just like pops off of something else, and like it I mean that's what the effect is. It's like the first hole in the dam breaks, and then it just builds and then the dam just falls. Right, that's what the chain reaction kind of deaths at Final Destination are.
Yeah, for those of you who are curious and just won't be able to sleep tonight without knowing what the fuck.
Oh yeah, well now William's gonna get us demonetized. You can't yell at me about it.
Okay. You need to understand. It's 1983. We didn't have shit. That was cutting edge in 1983. That was Atari level excitement in 2023 or 1983. That's what you had. So you damn kids don't know the struggle. But yeah, that's Automan. But see how that was 1983 version of synthwave. It was that whole thing. Now, like I said, there is one that will never be undone, and I don't care what era this is. If you were a kid on Friday night and you were watching TV, usually with the family, to this day, damn near 4.5 decades later, this opening, I don't know, will ever be topped.
Only success in live action Marvel had before Blade.
No, that is false.
Really? Okay,
100% false. I'm surprised we've talked about this before. Spider-Man, Nicholas Hammond. That was a successful
really. You think that was, but that was on the level of the Incredible Hulk. Is like
because of but you have to understand that these characters. Spider-Man was made because of the character Spider-Man. The Hulk was made because of the character and the notoriety of the Hulk. Blade was made because Wesley Snipes wanted it made, and he had that kind of power. Nobody was looking for a Blade movie in 1998, but Wesley Snipes. There's only one person in the world, and he had the power. If he wanted to make, the Last Dragon Part 2, then the Last Dragon Part 2 would have been made. That's where Wesley Snipes was in the 90s. He came to you, and if you wanted to make that money that he brought you said yes to what he was doing, and that's it. That's not the same when it came to Spider-Man and Incredible Hulk. Those were made because those characters mattered at that time. Spider-Man, listen, Spider-Man was cheesy as hell. I mean,
Yeah.
we've shown the scene.
I
that
did
one.
watch it.
I grew up, and like I said, he's on the walls. He's not even touching the walls.
Clearly being pulled up by a wire.
We played the intro to that, and that's cheesy as hell.
In fact, we can probably do that right now if we're not going to get demonetized.
Now, if we are, I don't care about tonight. Didn't I play that? Hold on.
Yep,
but that one, which you saw with the Hulk, to this day, that's classic. The Hulk was a really good series, and it wasn't just listen. He was Hulk for about 2 minutes of the show half the time. It was a story about characters and what Bruce David Banner was going through, and how he solved it as this loner. And then obviously the formula was the same. A fight would break out, and his eyes would go green. Hulk would come in, he'd fuck somebody up, and then Jack, the guy who's always chasing him, was always a day late, $1 short. And the thing that was always
like Les Miserables, kind of like set up where like the detective was like constantly pursuing him.
Yeah, and the thing that every ending of the Incredible Hulk had the Joseph Harnell soundtrack,
The Lonely Man,
Lonely Man, which was like you just felt like shit at the end of it because every time he would be where he thought he could set up and not have to run anymore, the Hulk comes off, tears up some shit, and then he has to go, and he's always alone. And then that's in the comic books. Here's the thing: in the comic books, he's never really alone in that manner. That's the thing about the show that they added that element to it.
Well, I mean, because there was a lot of at the time, in terms of like budget and effects, there were a lot of things in the comics they just couldn't logistically do on the show. So that's one way they compensated for it. It was a fugitive story, and yeah, it was. I mean, that was Marvel, like that was their first big success in live action was the Incredible Hulk, and I see
Spider-Man and Captain America was a success.
Are you serious?
Yes,
telling me the red brown Captain America is the motorcycle helmet? Come on.
Dude, I am not advocating this. The clear shield, that was a hit, man. You got to realize what era you're talking about here.
Well, yeah,
you're looking at it you're looking at it from your point of view now, and I understand this. But we didn't have shit. I'm trying to tell you guys, we were the ones that played adventure on the Atari with an arrow that was supposed to be a sword and a dragon that looked like a seahorse. That was what we had. We played combat. We played combat with a square fighting another square and a dot over a dot. That's what we were battling over. So you guys are looking at it from the point of view of where you're at now. Dude, when the old man brought in the Atari 2600,
that cap was lame even back then.
No, that was the cap you had. That he got multiple things in the Spider-Man. Nicholas Hammond, he got a show. He got movies, and he got a show that lasted longer than it had any business lasting because we didn't have anything back then. That was a hit. The Hulk was the first major primetime network hit.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. That's a different story because you're talking about putting something on Friday night. The Hulk aired on Friday night in an era where Friday night was that was your must-see TV night. Fridays and Saturdays in the early 80s, the late 70s, early 80s, were the big nights. You stayed your ass home, but you were either at the movies with the family or you stayed home with the family and you were watching. And Sunday, Disney used to have a big thing on Sunday where they would have their movie of the week. And NBC had their movie of the week. And it would be original stuff, right? So Fridays and Saturdays was big. Dukes of Hazzard, all that stuff was on Friday. Knight Rider was on Friday. It was a big night. And so Hulk was right before Dallas. Dallas in the 1980s, for you guys to understand, Dallas was one of the most popular shows of all time, and it was the top-rated show there. So Hulk was the lead into that. That's how important Hulk was, what they thought about Hulk. So
before we pull up that Spider-Man intro, I'm showing everybody this is what 70s Captain America looked like.
Dude, and I'm not defending. I'm just telling you what we had.
This is what you got for Captain America, man.
Yeah, look, they made improvements.
Here's
the thing about it. The thing about it is it lasted long enough for there to be improvements made. I'm not saying this is great. Just take it down. It's hurt my eyes.
Look at this Evel Knievel. Like,
but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. All right, you brought up Evel Knievel, and that's very important. This was released in the era where Evel Knievel was on every shirt and lunch pail and show. They had Wild Wars of Sports, was featuring Evel Knievel jumping over motorcycles in the COD. That's why the motorcycle was such a big deal. He literally was patterned after Evel Knievel. So that was a hit back then. We look at it now, and it's
He
like
has that plastic half-transparent shield.
Yeah.
Well, like
that didn't even come back to him half the time.
Well, it's a big frisbee, and like the one scientist says, it's like, oh, it's a deadly weapon. It's like, are you shitting me? It's a deadly weapon.
But that was a hit back then. And then you had Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a big hit back in this. But Wonder Woman was a massive hit back then. So you had comic book IPs, but once again, the difference between Blade and any of those ones we mentioned, those were brought about because of the notoriety of the character, not the actor. Bill Bixby was a famous actor, but that wasn't. They said we're doing a Hulk show, and this is the guy who auditioned, and then Lou Ferrigno and all that. Blade, no one. If Wesley Snipes doesn't do Blade, there never is a Blade in motion picture until the MCU. Whenever we get one from the MCU, if Wesley Snipes doesn't use his pull as Wesley Snipes to get that movie made in 1998, it never gets made. It never gets made. So,
well, on that note, here's Spider-Man 70s intro. There's actually 2 intros.
Yeah, because that show lasted. It got some time.
Yeah. I think
this is the opening with the web. Is this the one with the web?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my God! Look at those eyes. Look at that. That's what we got. We got a half hour of that every week. J. Jonah Jameson. Chip Fields. Betty Brant. Oh my goodness.
Casually walking on that wall. And that was 70s Spike.
And that got ratings. We laugh now, but once again, that got ratings. I mean, it's all we can do. I watched the shit out of that, dude.
No, I watched it because when I was a kid,
they even had a clone saga. They had the Jackal was in there.
Yeah,
remember they made a clone of Spider-Man?
Yeah, they had Clone Saga before they did Clone Saga. Yeah, because I first saw them because I wasn't around, of course, when they were airing. So,
dude, it was all. I mean, it was done pretty much before I even knew what it was. But it kept playing in syndication.
The way I discovered is, I mean, that Blockbuster they were released they would have 2 episodes packaged as a movie. So I rented a lot of those as a kid.
Stan Lee did a cameo in there somewhere.
Oh, he wanted to play JJ in that. That would have been interesting. But
damn, dude, that was so depressing. I used to cry as a little kid because when I was so young when I saw it, and this is where my brain formed like, okay, he's gonna be back next week, and then it's like, okay, but he just ends up lonely all the time. It's like, wow, dude.
Aaron says, talk about Wonder Woman. Oh, by the way, I'm going to bring up the in a second here, the billboard you told me about, Aaron. Talk about Wonder Woman because her women were allowed to do stunts, were able to join the stunt union. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, who better to break that glass ceiling than Wonder Woman? I mean, and not only that, but across a lot of barriers. I mean, first, I wrote an article on the Fortress, first and thus far, probably only good female-led superhero movie that was a box office success and has maintained a long-standing legacy.
Have you seen Lou Ferrigno? He looks amazing.
Yeah, and he's in his 70s.
He's 75 years old,
and that dude could still compete.
Luke Ferrigno looks amazing, and it's not fair. I'm not saying this is some Bernie Hudson shit.
Yeah, because Ernie Hudson's pushing 80. He looks like he could pass for 45.
20. Let's see what he looks like now.
I'm going to pull up the other intro of the Spider-Man show real quick. So while we was pulling that up, I'm going to show you guys the other Spider-Man intro.
Okay, so Lou Ferrigno has gray hair, and that's basically what's changed.
Only thing that's changed.
And his son's a bodybuilder too.
Yeah.
Wow, this cat. I mean, I grew up and like I said, that's all it took. Oh, this
Probably
is
still
this is like the first. This is season 1.
this is the first situation. He could probably still, if they, I mean, if they just did like, they probably now do like just putting the dots on his face and like just
Yeah.
do mocap, but he could still probably like.
I would love to see that. I would
Yeah.
absolutely. I would love to see this goofy Spider-Man there, just as a sake of just to acknowledge everything that led up to what we had now, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. That would be not just for nostalgia, but for retrospect, because you have generations that don't they're laughing on us right now for watching this, but this mattered. Incredible Hulk mattered. Incredible Hulk lasted quite a while.
Yeah, it was 5 seasons, and then it had 3 made-for-TV movies.
In an era that you didn't get that kind of, unless you were Gunsmoke or Bonanza or some shit like that, your shelf life and successful shelf life was 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years was a long time for a non-soap opera.
And they wanted to do one after Death of Incredible Hulk. They wanted to do more. So it was. I think it was only because of the passing of Bill Bixby that they didn't.
Man, and I when we were at the store, I remember you guys. I put it on air. Just before he passed away, he was on a plane. My mom was working for Continental Airlines, and she met him in first class and asked him to sign something for me.
Oh wow!
He didn't sign it to me. He looked at my mom's badge because I guess he forgot, and then he just wrote her name on it. I still have it at the store. I bought it up along with my Ric Flair belt and some of the other stuff. That's one of my most prized possessions I will ever own because I cannot get that again. I cannot get that. It's like with Stan Lee, that picture of Stan Lee. Yeah. Stan Lee didn't autograph, but it is living proof that I was in the presence of Stan Lee. Those are valuable things I can't get back. So
I'm surprised Marvel didn't try to capitalize on blaxploitation by having a black superhero on TV in the 70s or 80s.
The networks weren't for it at the time.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, but I remember like Quentin Tarantino saying like he could have if he talked about the Luke Cage series on Netflix, and he said like if he had done that, he would have done that like set in the 70s like a blaxploitation kind of film. It's like I could have seen them maybe like Luke Cage. You could have done something.
Dead on Arrival, and I say that is misfortunate because of the climate when it came to stereotypal sitcoms. I mean, it took us a while to break through with sitcoms. Very few actors. I mean, you look at the 70s and look at anything lead role wise, no matter what it was tough. So no, you would not have gotten a Luke Cage in the 70s. And he tried, and he got shut down. So
I really want to play this stuff.
This music is a dead studio.
And the glowing spider too, though, or what they had time effect wise. Work with your
and bell bottoms.
This is the one thing, by the way. This is the mask. Hang on the helicopter.
Listen, 100 men versus a gorilla. Listen, maybe the sheer number of people coming at the gorilla might eventually, I guess, overwhelm the gorilla. Tell you what, though, those first 20 or 30 are dead. Those first 20 are dead, and that might stop the whole fight. Once you see what a gorilla can do to a human, even if you outnumber the gorilla, it might be like, oh, fuck, what did I just see? Because gorillas are very powerful. Chimpanzees can tear apart a human. A full-grown gorilla, 100 men. I mean, the sheer weight of people, but like I said, the people closest to the gorilla are all going to die.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's 100 men with like the biggest balls in the world, but
and a gorilla can literally, I mean, and they're quicker and they're agile. The only way you're going to be able to do it is to pounce. All 100 of you are going to have to pounce on him, drag him down, and hope that your grip is so tight on him that he doesn't get a hand
or an arm free, because that's all it's going to take. Because one gorilla hand free is one dead guy. All right. If you get to foot, remember those feet are gorilla's feet, are like hands. So each limb that the gorilla gets loose from your grasp, that's a dead person. All right. So that's 4 dead people right there. And after they're dead, those limbs are still free. So as you are coalescing, as you are fighting this gorilla, no less than 4 of you are dying at any given time. So eventually, yes, the sheer number of 100 versus 1, I think, would overpower, but not at
a human sacrifice.
It will be at a cost to those initial people. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what even brought this up.
Yeah, it's a weird question, but yeah, it'd be like the opening of Saving Private Ryan, where like the first bunch of soldiers on the ship is like, once the door comes down, those guys are goners.
Yeah, because as soon as that ramp drop, you saw in Private Ryan, the guy got nailed in the head. And Lou Ferrigno was historically, as far as I know, not doing steroids. Lou Ferrigno, because of disability, all kinds of stuff. I think he had people in his family that had issue, but I don't. Back then, that's all you did was bodybuild. But remember, he wasn't an actor at first. He was just a bodybuilder. And in the bodybuilding contest back in the 60s and 70s, they tested you.
Yeah.
When you won one of those, you got tested and you could get stripped of your title.
And by the way, he also, going back to the Hulk, God, my mind is still like, Chuck, it's like, where this like 100 humans versus 1 gorilla topic?
Hold on.
You plan on fighting any gorillas, man? But what was I saying? Yeah, Lou Ferrigno, going back to the Hulk, he actually originally was not. He wasn't the first guy cast. It was actually Richard Kiel, who he's kind of known as Jaws and James Bond. He also, like my generation, probably best knows him as the guy that gets the nail in his head in Happy Gilmore. And he's like 7 feet tall. He's a big dude, but he's enormous. But in terms of like muscle mass, like Lou Ferrigno kind of had that on.
Okay, he did. I take that back. He did for a period of time.
Well, there was also a period of time where they were legal too. Like I know, like Arnold admitted to it at one point too.
Now, here's the thing, though. Are you
frozen,
testosterone and hormone replacement? That's there's a lot of different things in there that we consider now. But yeah, now that's testosterone is legal. You can use that now.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? What are you sorry?
He's talking about the story with Bill Bixby on the plane.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I never met him, but like I said, I have that picture at the house. Yeah, so he was doing testosterone and hormone replacement in the mid-70s. I'm just looking up the same because, like I said, this was later on.
Chuck, what is this like sudden fixation to fight gorillas, dude?
3 and 97. Let's go, homies. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Make sure you're the last one.
Well, like I said, it's like you probably the quantity like would tip the scales for the 100 humans, but again, there's some human sacrifice going on for that fight.
Yeah, a chimp can tear you apart. Chimps are all muscle. Chimps are all muscle.
You look up look up the story of the woman who like got her face
face ripper monkey. Yeah. So just imagine if a chimp can do that, because I've held a chimp in a zoo, and there you can feel, if they really wanted to hurt you, you'd be hurt. That's it. So imagine something 3, 4, 5 times the size a gorilla. A gorilla can, like I said, and then if they punch you, and if they get a hold of you and just use you as a weapon to beat everyone else up, I mean, and plus they're quick. So if he saw 100 people, it depends on how the attack would happen. If it's 1 by 1, no, that's a person dying at every time. If you would have to group tackle them. You would have to group tackle.
It has to be like a helicopter, like with everybody like in one of those like compartments,
Planet
like,
World War Z type of thing.
Drop them all down at once on top of them,
and better hope he don't catch you.
Yeah,
because if he catches you, you're dead. And remember, gorillas can leap. They can leap from point, so they can grab 3 or 4 of you and leap to a place where there's not 100 of you. Kill those people. Wait for you to catch up. Leap to another part because they're going to be able to jump and move. A gorilla is going to move faster than a human.
When is the gorilla versus 100 man movie
coming? Yeah, it sounds like something bad.
This is some kind of weird concept. Guys.
Where did that come from? Because like I said,
come on, we're very much advocates of not fighting gorillas here on the Side by Center.
Somebody's gonna die. Some people are gonna die. And like I said, the smart ones, the 100 will become nothing because once the rest of the 100 will be like, what? What? And now you're talking hand to hand. Like I said, you realize how far and fast a gorilla can jump? All it needs to do is circle you to it, split you up to manageable killings. So now if you group up on it, it's going to jump on the tree and jump back down on you. Just the weight of the gorilla landing on you should kill some of you right there. And I'm sorry, the shock of seeing your cohorts getting torn apart is probably going to be like, wow.
Put the fear of
yeah,
God.
I could win this battle because I got 99 homies with me.
Apparently this is where this all started. Like Gorilla versus 100 Men came from Twitter, just posted at random what if question.
Yeah. That's like people who think, well, I can take on a wolf. Somebody was like making a bet, like I could take on a wolf. Wolves are just big dogs. No, a wolf is a wolf. A wolf is designed to tear you apart. A wolf is not a dog. Dogs come from wolves, but wolves are the ones that didn't evolve. You ain't domesticating like that. A wolf is huge. And a wolf's biting power, the force pounds of a wolf, once a wolf clamps down on you, whatever it clamped down on is gone. Forget about that. You're not replacing that.
Okay, this is like maybe like the inversion of the question. I just came across this on Twitter. Maybe people might be like flipping this. So it's like, okay, 1 man versus 100 gorillas in a wheelchair. Okay, this is even worse situation.
This is dumb. This is death. You're done. Because it doesn't matter whether the gorilla's in a wheelchair, because if the gorilla, his legs may be useless, but his arms ain't, and that's all he needs to do is kill you.
Yeah, okay, we're getting off of this, guys. Let's not go picket fights of gorillas. Come on.
Nah, you're gonna die. Like I said, most wild animals. Like I said, when it comes to wolf, by the way, when it comes to wolf, lone wolf is a term because it's a rarity.
Yeah.
Wolves travel in packs, so once their buddies hear you dying, they're coming. and if you weren't done, if you're still alive by some miracle from the first wolf attack, you ain't got much time left because the wolf pack is coming and you're done.
I'm not about monkey business. I stand on my business. That gorilla thing is online trending. Yeah, okay. Well, it's got to end because it's like somebody's going to get killed if they get the idea to go ahead and do this. Walrus versus 100 Men. He's like, yeah, I wonder who came up with that question for. I mean, Williams Fly.
Speaking of wolves, what are your thoughts on bringing back? Listen, I don't know if I want us bringing back beasts from the past because I think you can get out of hand. You have some Jurassic Park shit where you got dinosaurs just running through Manhattan, just eating people. You got like raptors. You want them to bring back the raptor and have them rolling through Vegas with rock hard leather skin that's bulletproof? Nah, pass. And stop. Listen, you guys in Antarctica and these ice, stop digging up shit in the ice. I fucking stop right now. Stop looking. I don't want to hear no more stories of found a long lost organism in the ice. Fucking leave it there. I don't. We've seen. Come on.
Yeah.
Your Nobel Peace Prize ain't worth the entire planet being infested by some shape-shifting alien that kills us all because you couldn't leave it in the ice. Stop it.
Forrest says, I took on a goose one time. I beat that. Okay, well, I mean,
goose are dangerous. Goose can peck you. Goose can take an eye out.
Well, if you took out the goose, then it's like, I mean, you're like right here, so you'll get up to the taking on the gorilla in about 100 years. So.
Yeah, this show is fucking off. I'm deleting this show. We went from talking Blade to gorillas. What happened here?
Is anyone here? Yeah, I think it reminded me of that, Brady. Because I want to bring up Aaron. Shared this on social media, the some of the marketing for it, which is pretty good marketing for what of course, what this franchise entails.
You kids have fun.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it. Well, it's also, I mean, it's Tony Todd. So it's our final farewell to Tony Todd.
My final farewell to Tony Todd was Candyman. Yeah, this is it.
The billboard, like the.
Why would you do some shit like this, dude? This is fucked up.
I mean, that's good marketing. I mean, it's this is what the movie's selling.
Look at the head. Look, that is so distasteful. I'm sorry. I know it's good advertising.
That guy there bleeds blue. He crashed right there.
Oh, they couldn't put the blood on there. They wanted to. Oh, hell no. Oh yeah, the Xylo. I seen that. Yeah, like I said, listen. I make sure you're bringing back like the dodo. Or you're bringing back, the long lost. If you're going to bring something back, it needs to be cuddly and harmless. You start bringing back man-eating shit, we need to stop. I don't need pterodactyls. I don't need that.
I don't need
And before you
that.
even knew what you had, you patented it, you packaged it, you slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it.
Something the size of a small plane that can swoop down and eat you. I don't need that back. I don't need the T-Rex back. I don't need raptors back. I don't need megalodon. I don't need any of these things that have left us through natural progression. I don't need them back. But if it's something cuddly that we killed off, bring back, certain whales, bring those back. Things that can't wipe out mankind. Because remember, when they roamed the earth, we didn't.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a problem if we start bringing shit back and they're like, hey, I think I want to bring back the prehistoric crocodile. Fuck no, because we have too many of the modern ones, and they just roam the streets in some places. When I was in Florida, and we had to stop and leave what we were doing because of damn gators just rolling. I'm like, and I look at this thing's huge. They had to call animal control out there to get this motherfucker, and he was big. I'm like, he ate a person. I'm sorry, and you're never gonna. He ate whatever he ate. He was.
Yeah. And the other idea, it's like you just know, like sometimes it's one to like bring back like the cockroaches from like prehistoric, cockroaches back when they were the size of like a sofa.
When all cockroaches have wings, but they don't all fly. But I don't want the era where giant cockroaches that are the size of my hand are flying.
The cockroach like had a mimic.
Like, no. That and it can stand up and mimic humans. By the way, that movie's creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah, it is.
Bugs that can mimic humans so that they can get to humans. So yeah.
No, the gorillas cry before Harambe.
Oh man, I remember when people were voting for Harambe. I'm like, you went into a ballot and wrote in Harambe at your vote. William, what are your opinions on the theme song to the TV show $1 Million Man? I can't remember $1 Million Man. Knight Rider, Miami Vice was iconic. Knight Rider was like those are iconic. Those are great. I can't remember $1 Million Man. It was let's see.
William, what is one
all of them
destination?
Dude, we could run a video on some of the ones. All the ones with power tools, all the ones with the saw. There's one with we're not talking about.
There was one where I think it was in the third one where the two girls get trapped inside the two tanning booths, and then anything that involves like electricity, those are always good because what happens is they'll be like that or the laser eye surgery.
Your sound is fading.
They get trapped in some way, and then like water gets spilled on like
the tanning booth one was bullshit. I'm like, what are we doing here? I'm sorry, that's not that one. Anyway. Don't worry, William.
It always like water gets spilled on it. It causes it to like overload with them inside of it.
Yeah, that was bullshit. And some of the ones in there are, like I said, are realistic to the point where they're scary, and some of them are absolute horseshit. But at that point, you're sitting at a Final Destination movie. You know what to expect. Don't worry, William. If dinosaurs do come back, they will most likely die from our environment because dinosaurs cannot live. Yeah, but in the interim, they're gonna dine on us. They may die out, but they will eat us quicker than they'll die out. So yeah, no more dinosaurs.
No more bringing back dead things with sharp teeth and claws.
Yeah, look how Jurassic Park usually ends. People get eaten in Jurassic Park.
Delra says dinosaurs are not what most of us think.
All right, Bill, listen.
No, I don't think he's saying like they're cuddly. She's just saying you're talking about like they have feathers and they look like big birds. They look like big turkeys.
That's fine, but I know they have teeth, and I know certain dinosaurs have teeth that are for flesh, and other ones are like the Bronchosaurus and all the ones that just eat the plants. That's fine. We can bring those back. But we ain't bringing back the Allosaurus. We ain't bringing out the Velociraptor. We ain't bringing back the ones that will chase you down and eat you. Okay,
it runs 60 miles an hour.
I don't care whether it has feathers, as long as it has those teeth, and we know it has those teeth because we got the.
Somebody's like got that now. Going to start that meme. Like, what if 100 humans versus one Velociraptor?
It's not gonna, dude. That Velociraptor would eat forever.
That's good. That's gonna like shred through because then you dogpile the Velociraptor and it's got claws, so it's like it's strong.
Yeah, you'd have to catch it. You'd have to catch it. Those now. Yeah, and then the T-Rex. I mean, and like I said, it's like leather. That tough leather skin might not take a few bullets before it eats you. You shoot at a T-Rex, and it's like, wow, what was that?
Oh god, I don't know if how you want to pull up this one from fourth about Final Destination. I'm gonna do William. The tanning booth shouldn't concern either yourself or me. We beat that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, they find other ways to cure black folks, though. So we don't need to tan. We're good. Why do you disagree with me, Anthony? Why I think I think dying in tanning booth, short circling.
Well, yeah, but it's not going to turn into like the surface of the sun like it happens.
Yeah, there's just not those things don't put out enough rays, and they would short out. It the thing, but it was bullshit. Then the entire birds are dinosaurs. They are descended from dinosaurs. There's a difference between a seagull attacking me and a pterodactyl attacking me. It ain't like Alfred Hitchcock. I can run from birds. Pigeons are a nuisance. There's nothing I can do if a pterodactyl swoops down on me. There's nothing I can do. I can't outrun it. Sometimes you can't even see it. You think you would see something that big, but it was so quick it would drop down on you like a bam, and that's it. And all of a sudden you're dead. You're flying away, being basically chewed because it's chewing you as it's flying away, probably to drop you off to the nest.
Yeah.
That's what a way to die. Just to be flying through the air knowing it's over. It's over.
One of the flies with the dudes. Oh yeah, that was a good one too. But that's also bullshit.
Oh yeah, that shit.
Where he dives down to the bottom,
all the blood, yeah.
and then he gets sucked against like the pool drain, and like the pressure like builds up, and then it explodes, and like it pulls his intestines. And, like, yeah, that one's like that's like.
Yeah, some of them were just comedic.
Some of they have deaths that are like that feel that are somewhat predicated in reality, but they have other ones that are like it's just like an itchy and scratchy kind of death.
Yeah, like when the things whip out and cut people in half and everything. All right, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of creatures deep in the ocean that we don't know about. And you know what, Braden? Here's the thing. I got a 100% fix for that. Don't go into the ocean.
I think William froze on that.
I know that how to avoid a shark attack, unless it's some bullshit Sharknado. If I stay on dry land, that's why Jaws never made sense to me. If I stay on dry land, it doesn't matter how vengeful the shark is. It doesn't matter whether the shark can sniff me out from thousands of miles.
Yeah, William, give everybody your like Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah,
you give everybody like the solution, like the shark seeking revenge when they fly to the Bahamas from New York. The shark like out track down, and because he's trying to avenge his buddy from like the first couple of movies. Like, okay, how do you shark's revenge plot?
I sit on the beach watching the shark fin go around. You can't come on land. I'm not going in the water.
But shark's thinking like, well, you can't stay on this island forever. Like you live back in New York. How do you? I mean,
I flew here. And if I took a ship here, it ain't like the Jaws one boat that you can bite in half, which was complete bullshit. Yeah, so like I said, I just okay, Megalodon, the Meg. I can't relate to that movie. It was entertaining, but I can't relate to that movie because I will never be where something like that can get me. Now, dinosaur is different. Dinosaur can walk on land. It's a problem.
Well, and Anthony actually means I think the Megalodon is
okay, still Anthony. All right, I'm going to read this out to you. I think the Megalodon is still around, William. He's deep down in the ocean where William will never be. It can be down there. Hell, it can be up in the surface of the ocean. Until that motherfucker goes legs and can breathe on dry land, I'm 100% safe.
You know, I was and when they first dropped it, because the Meg movies, obviously, they're also BS too. They're entertaining BS, but I remember the first one when that first trailer dropped. That was a good intro for the Meg, where they're like in the underwater, research facility, and the one kid's like, getting her ball or whatever. She rolled down the hall, and then the Meg just it just appears slowly, and then it's hovering there for a second because it doesn't know there's glass between the two of them, but it's just sitting there for a second, and then just lunges forward. And it has the teeth marks inside the glass. That's a pretty good jump scare.
Yeah. I said what if you saw Superman 1 issue floating in a shark infested waters?
Okay, here I got the solution. You're gonna get those 100 knuckleheads that wanted to fight the gorilla to go get it for you.
No, I'm gonna get people who are trained to deal with sharks to pay them to go get it because the profit from Superman 1 or Action Comic #1 will justify me sending someone else down there to die to get it. Hey, even if one of them gets eaten, if I send 8 or 9 of them down there, the shark's only gonna eat one at a time. So one of them's going to die, and the rest of them are going to bring me back the comic. Yeah,
No, that's what I say. It's like get those 100 people fighting the gorilla. It's like they'll see if they got the balls to do that. They'll do this.
I just see that as no one's going to be that. People are full.
And William froze again.
Internet's fucking. Listen, people are full of shit. Oh, I could take out a gorilla. I don't think you understand the effect of watching someone, and if you know, or someone you showed up with, someone you were just talking to just a couple of minutes ago, get torn apart in agony. The human emotion, the human experience is going to be fight or flight. You just saw what happened to fight, so you better fly because you don't have much time left. If somebody close to you just got torn apart by a monkey, you're probably next. And it's probably going to be happening faster than you can comprehend. Because guess what? I don't care. Fear will do something to you. When you see that happen to somebody, your reaction is going to be, holy shit. And by that time, listen, the gorilla is like, fuck it. I'm not on your time schedule. I'm not waiting for me. You're panicking and frozen in fear. I am on a different schedule. You're about to die real quick. And it's all a punch. If a gorilla punches you, he don't even need to grab you. He can punch, grab. A gorilla could grab one person with his foot, crack its neck, grab someone with his hand, crack his other neck, crack that person's neck, punch you, don't even punch you with one hand and grab somebody else with another, and just cycle that until the rest of the people are like, wow, that gorilla just killed 4 people. We're no longer thinking about 100 versus 1. We're thinking about, holy shit. Did you see? I didn't realize a human body could be torn like a paper like that. That gorilla just turned us into like toys. 2 toys. That's it. We're done. It's gonna be 5 people dying and then the 95 people running away.
Here it says, yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah, anything but me getting in there. I don't even listen. Ask Clint. I don't even fish. That
was just my first suggestion. Like, send me like 100 like gorilla fighters to go for it.
Don't forget the teeth. Yeah. The teeth of the gorilla. A gorilla's jaws can crack a fucking coconut, which means it can crack a head. So if its hands are free,
and they're not carnivorous too, but I mean,
they're not. They'll bite you though. They'll bite you if they think they're being threatened. You don't. A gorilla is designed for where it exists. That's why it hangs from trees and jumps, and it's all muscle. It's all muscle.
I want to watch this gorilla. We have got the weirdest show tonight. It's with Blade and then gorilla sharks.
Yeah, a deer can kill you. A deer can trap. Deer kill people every year. Those hooves can fuck up your skull. There's movies.
And William froze again. And you mean, wow, William really froze tonight. Okay.
And when you said I was frozen, I wasn't frozen. Then after you said I was frozen, then I froze. It was kind of weird. But no, there are movies with deer standing up on their hind legs and punching the shit out of people. And then those horns can impale you. And leave those goats alone too.
Oh, by the way, here's a good one. It's like ever since John Wick 3, not that I would have done this before, but since John Wick 3, I will never stand behind a horse.
Oh yeah.
When they run to the horse stable and he's fighting all the opponents, and then he smacks the one horse's ass and kicks the one dude in the face.
Yeah, that's fatal.
That guy's dead as a door. And then he has the second guy where he gets kicked twice. It's like, I will never ever find myself standing behind a horse.
You're talking about a 2,000-pound beast and the legs that hold that up. Yeah, you're that's all. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, not happening. Sci-Fi Center when Animals Attack Edition. God, Wayne keeps freezing. It's crazy. You still there, man? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'm here, but it's the I don't know what's going on with it.
Yeah, with the Sci-Fi Center when Animals Attack Edition.
Oh no, animals. Listen, I will never be in that movie. I will never be in that movie. I don't even do the petting zoo. Listen, dogs, cats, turtles, maybe fish, goldfish. That's it.
I wonder who would win in a fight between a deer versus. Oh, the kangaroo's taking that.
Not necessarily. A deer can just charge it. A deer will charge you, and deers aren't lightweight, by the way. Deers are 1,500 to 2,000 pounds in some cases. This ain't Bambi. So a deer charging at you, that's probably going to be an even fight. because the kangaroo will kick, but he has to be able to get that kick off. A deer can charge and stop and charge again. So when that kangaroo bounces on its tail to do that kick, and if that kangaroo misses with that kick, and that deer can resume that charge, it's going to get ugly.
By the way,
I think they'll kill each other, to be honest with you.
And this is also, I mean, talking about other like bullshit and media. There was one episode of The Simpsons I remember. This is how like again, like The Simpsons definitely does operate on like cartoon logic, where Homer is like he takes Bart to like this Homer and like Moe and a bunch of them, they take Bart to like this reindeer kind of repository or something, and Homer like ends up like kind of surrounded by deer, and they just smash into him like 80 times, and then at the end of the episode, Marge says, "Oh, Homer, you feel softer than before." It's like, I've been tenderized. Like, no, he's a lot worse than tenderized after that.
Wow, everything goes back to The Simpsons with you.
Oh God,
hippos actually do. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, hippos are dangerous.
Yeah.
Listen, this shit is cool on TV, but like I said, I'm the guy who's staying. I don't go to these places.
Where's this idea? Does everybody want to be Tarzan all of a sudden? Like, we just go out and fight animals in the jungle?
Tarzan, but they would show Tarzan wrestling gorillas, and I'm like, okay, this is bullshit. The smallest gorilla would have killed Tarzan in 2 seconds. He's out there fighting with lions and stuff. I'm like, as soon as that lion gets his jaws around anything that Tarzan has, anything, waist, head, neck, it's over with. So yeah.
Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, or Zack Snyder's Gorilla vs. 100 Men.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody could make like a Gorilla 100 Men fight movie, awesome, he'd be him. But I still would rather the Justice League sequels.
This is going to be the last question of the night because we've
got like all this gorilla nonsense and shark and the kangaroo and deer fighting.
Like, William and Brad, would you rather the Batman Part 2 gets killed?
Shit, man, he's buffering all crazy tonight.
Hold on, I'm on an unstable connection. Hold on, I know we're about to wrap the show up, but it's giving me an unstable connection.
Quick answer for me is like, I don't want anything to get canceled.
Yeah, I am at the point where I don't need the continuation of the Snyderverse. I need the conclusion of the Snyderverse. So why would I wouldn't want to stop something I enjoy, which is the Batman, for something that I only need a conclusion to.
Well, I mean, to me, the continuation is the conclusion.
Okay, then that's a different thing. Either way, though, no, I don't want to give up something I enjoy for something else I enjoy. I would have to pass on both. I would have to pass on both.
Braden, the perfect way to phrase this for me would have been like, Brad, if any and all future scary movies get canceled in favor of the Snyderverse, it's like, oh, that's an easy choice.
Right. But no, to answer your question, I would abstain. I would rather not have either one of them than have one of them get canceled or because of the other. I would just rather not have them. So, all right, guys.
Mortal Kombat for animals. That's kind of what the show turned into with this crazy like gorilla and like deer and wolf and like if this animal fights this animal, or if 100 people fight this,
you can go to YouTube. There's YouTube videos on all this stuff. All right, guys. This is probably one of the very list, and maybe tomorrow night if I hit the air, going to be the last of the outright open topic shows for a while, unless I spring them out. Not because of the ridiculousness that you guys turned this show into. I mean, spending more time talking about Blade than Kevin Feige is right now. And then we went into this animal craziness. But no, it's simple because I think the show, to be honest with you, is at its best when we have topics. I think the conversation and it leads into other things. Now, it's okay if we lead into open topic, but I really want to start structuring a show like we used to do, where we used to have a topic, a thumbnail, and we would hit that topic. And then kind of like what Campia does, the latter half of the show, we start talking to people, taking questions and things like that. But I want to have a lead in topic. It doesn't have to be a news topic because, like I said, we're not a news show. Because if we were a news show, I would have to talk about everything, and there's just some things I don't give a shit about.
Yeah. Right. I think we'll read his last question before we go. William, if you actually look at statistics here in the United States, the wild animals that kill most people are not bears or wolves. It's actually moose and elk.
But here's the thing, though. If you have moose and elk, I probably don't live in your state or city.
That's true, yeah.
Even if you had moose or elk, you had to get close to them in order for them to kill you. And moose in particular are very docile until you do something stupid.
Yeah.
And when you do something stupid to a moose, it's too late. There's
Have
no
you seen
turning. There's no turning and running.
Have you seen that
Because-
one video of the moose? Like, this moose is enormous. This moose is like the size of like,
yeah, I saw it. It's an
it was
Alaskan
like the
bull.
size, like, I mean, it's about as tall as a giraffe.
Yeah, it's an Alaskan bull moose video where Alaskan bull moose have a antler span of nearly 13 feet.
Yeah, I mean, this moose is the size of an elephant, and it's just like casually like walking along this road with all the cars, and yeah.
And the cars got out the way. A moose, an Alaskan bull moose, if it chases you, you stopping, allowing what's going to happen to you is the same as you running. You're not outrunning that thing. And when it gets you, it's going to trample you and it's going to gather you in its antlers and just rip you around until it knows you are no longer a threat. But you have to do something. You could be near this moose, and as long as you don't mess with it, the moose and you can coexist. Not William, because that means I'm out in places I don't need to be. But I've seen people do stupid shit and try to run back to their car and try to back out, and the moose has got them quartered. And all you hear is you can feel the ground in the video. Boom, 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 and then the thing goes black. Okay, so no. All right. First of all, I'm not going to be in the vicinity of these type of creatures. And B, if I was, I'm the guy who's not doing the stupid shit. I'm not the guy following in the monkey cage. I'm not the guy trying to piss off the wild animal. Nope. I've seen too much Lauren Greens. I've seen too many people make that mistake. Not me. City folk don't do this stuff. So no. All right. Thank you guys. Tomorrow, last open topics show. Then Friday night I will not be on the air. Saturday will be our normal Saturday show. We will be covering a lot of topics. Heavy metal, the new issue of Heavy Metal, #1, it's just come out. We'll be covering heavy metal. We will be covering. I have neglected Absolute. We've had a few issues of Absolute come out that I have not had a chance to talk about, even though I put them in the thumbnail and blatantly forget them. But I will not forget this week. We will be talking a bunch of just pop culture stuff, but that show will be structured. And Sunday night live streams will start having a topic as well. It will probably be the topic that didn't make it onto the Saturday show. So, but what Sunday night show will be more exclusively, whereas there are 3 or 4 topics in the Saturday show, the Sunday night show will have that one main one that didn't quite make it to the Saturday show, and then it'll provide some entertainment for us. And then we can talk. I don't know about open panels. You guys have proven to me tonight I don't want to talk to any of you. I do not. I barely want to read the shit you type in the chat. So yeah, I don't. Let's not take it to a new level. And yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to dive back into that yet, but who knows? All right, I am out of here. We will see you tomorrow night in some way, shape, or form. Until then, have a good Thursday. Have a good latter part of your week. We've made it past the hump. Try not to do anything stupid with wild animals, because some of you live in places. Some of you live in places where the temptation is there. Don't do it. And we will see you tomorrow night.
Later, guys.